So that was the sales process in a sales meeting. And in this happy description, we ended up doing the sale and after sale and fantastic. But sometimes you end up in this phase here where the potential client starts a negotiation. So you made an offer and the potential client makes a counter offer. And when that happens, the whole dynamic should change, and it will change. First and foremost, you should stop selling. That is really important. But there are some things are the same. Some things are the same. For instance, if you're in a corporate sale, whether you are selling or negotiating, the first thing is that you need to have a sense of who is the decision-making unit, and also you need to know where they are in terms of how much they will pay, for instance, what kind of quality they want. So the more you know about their situation, the better. For instance, if you're selling to a company, it's a complicated corporate sale. Of course, if you know which prices they have paid for previous sales, or you know their calculation, how much do they earn when they resell, it's better. Sometimes you can just ask them. They might not tell you the entire truth or anything at all. You can try to get that information indirectly and so on. But in any case, what you are looking for is to establish their sensitivity and their willingness to do stuff. If you assume, for instance, that we have a price range where this is nothing and this is very expensive, you will try to establish what is the area they would be okay with. You want to be out here, you want to sell at a high price, they want to get down here to a low price, but you figure out or you assume that this is around the area they want to be. So how do you start the negotiation? There are different ways to do it, but if you are Donald Trump or you're aggressive in your sales approach, you might start here with a provocation. So what happens then? One thing is that your counterpart starts to try to pull you in that direction, and you let them. This is like an anchor in a sense, and it builds on a psychology called anchoring. It's a phenomenon that the first one who says a price anchors the whole discussion about that price plus minus something. So the counterpart will start to drag you in that direction, but while they do that, you find some other features like delivery, like the product quality, like prepayment, something else, and you try to drag that in the opposite direction. But people are different, and sometimes the counterpart will come out and says, "I'm here," and then they're silent, and then it's not that easy, right? So what you can do is remain silent, but you could also have a strategy where you come with another provocation. You say, "Okay, we're here." But then you come with some completely ridiculous terms for it. Like you have to pay everything up front and blah, 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 blah. And we want a lot of marketing contribution. You need to set this up, and we want to have a giant display in your showroom or whatever. So people do it in a different way. There are also the kind of negotiations where people are on friendly terms. They are already cooperating. They do this frequently. They have to meet again. And in this case, starting out by being outrageous is typically a very bad idea because it destroys a relationship. So you will probably talk more openly about this, and then you'll probably start like here, and then the counterpart will start like here, and then search towards the middle. I said it before, but I'll say it again. It's so important that in a negotiation that you're not trying to sell. The reason is that you are trying to hold back. What you're saying when you come out here is you're not only saying this is our price, but you're also saying we won't sell it unless we get that price. So instead of trying to push your product across, now you're holding it back. And the other part will say, I'm not buying it unless it's that price. So completely different dynamics. You're not selling, you're holding back. They're not buying, they're holding back. So because of that, it's quite well known that silence can be more efficient in a negotiation than talking. And I know that when you learn about sales techniques and you learn about negotiation techniques, it can very easily become way too mechanical. It's just important to know that a really bad negotiator often makes the error of trying to sell without recognizing that this is not a sales situation anymore. This is a negotiation position. And in a negotiation position, you're pushing, you're holding back. So one thing that's really important in any negotiation, and it can be very important for both parties, is to have what is called a BATNA. So a BATNA is short for a best alternative to a negotiated agreement. Best alternative to a negotiated agreement. And so if you walk into a negotiation and you have alternative, you can sell your stuff to other people and you know what you can get for it. And your counterpart also knows that they can buy stuff, similar stuff from other people, and they know what the terms are. Then both of them come in with a BATNA, and that makes probably the negotiation faster, because whereas you have a range, both of them have at one point they will not go beyond. And so it narrows really the area of discussion.
Do you speak